If you want to understand how ownership-based pay actually works in real life, not on paper, not in theory, but in the real American economy, you have to look at ESOPs. Because ESOPs are the one place where OBP already exists at scale, and hardly anybody knows it, but they should. According to the National Center for Employee Ownership, the United States has about 6,358 ESOP companies. Those companies operate approximately 6,548 total ESOP plans, and together they cover about 10.8 million active employee owners. That's nearly 8% of the entire private sector workforce. Millions of people quietly building ownership every single day without headlines, without speeches, without Congress doing a thing. And it goes even deeper. Research from the Aspen Institute shows that when you count former employees who are still receiving their payouts, ESOP participation jumps to over 14 million Americans. That's bigger than the entire population of Pennsylvania, bigger than the population of Illinois, bigger than the active duty U.S. military by a factor of 10. That is not a niche idea. That is a parallel economy hiding in plain sight. So what exactly makes an ESOP different from a regular retirement plan? In a traditional job, you get a wage, maybe a matching 401k contribution if you're lucky. You trade your labor for a paycheck, and that's where it ends. But in an ESOP, the company gives you something far more powerful: equity. And the way that equity arrives is what makes ESOPs the purest example of OBP in action. You don't buy the shares with your own money, you don't invest your wages, you don't trade cash for stock. Instead, the company sets up an ESOP trust. That trust buys company stock, sometimes through a loan, sometimes through contributions. As that loan is paid down, the trust releases shares into employee accounts. And those shares are allocated based on simple, fair metrics like years of service and relative compensation. This means one thing: your labor earns you ownership automatically. There is no barrier to entry, no down payment, no stock market learning curve, no paycheck sacrifice, just time, work, and contribution. This is why ESOPs matter. They show exactly what OBP looks like when you scale it inside a real business with real people living real lives. ESOPs are the prototype. OBP is the evolution, but the foundation is already here. Now that you understand the scale, let's walk through exactly how OBP works inside the ESOP model. Because once you see the mechanics, you'll understand why this system is so powerful and why it produces results that wage-only companies can't come close to replicating. Inside an ESOP, everything starts with the trust. According to research summarized by the National Center for Employee Ownership, an ESOP trust is a legal structure created to hold company stock on behalf of employees. The company contributes shares to this trust, or contributes cash for the trust to buy shares. In many ESOPs, especially during ownership transitions, the trust takes out a loan to buy a large block of stock. Over time, the company makes contributions to the trust to pay down that loan. Every time a portion of the loan is repaid, a proportional amount of stock is released from the trust into employee accounts. And those shares are allocated based on simple rules, typically years of service and compensation. The people who stay longer earn more ownership because they contribute more of their life to the company. It's simple, fair, and transparent. This is where OBP comes fully alive. Your ownership grows automatically as the company becomes more valuable. You don't risk anything. You don't buy anything. You're not gambling in the market. It is worth repeating. You do not risk anything. You're earning equity the same way you earn your paycheck, by showing up and doing the work. And this creates a psychological shift that wage-only systems never achieve. When you're paid in ownership, you think differently. Waste hits you differently. Efficiency matters differently. Collaboration feels different. This isn't a motivational speech. This is observed reality. But the biggest moment comes when you leave or retire. A According to ESOP payout data commonly cited by retirement researchers, the company is legally required to buy back your shares at their full fair market value. That means all those years of ownership accumulation convert into real money, sometimes 6 figures, sometimes 7 figures, handed back to you in retirement accounts or structured payouts. That's OBP, that's ownership-based pay, and ESOPs show exactly how it works. Now let's talk about results, because you can have the most elegant model in the world, but if it doesn't produce real outcomes, it's just a theory. ESOPs are not theory, they are results. According to nationwide ESOP data, ESOP companies hold roughly $1.8 trillion in total assets. That's trillion with a T. And in just 1 year, 2020, Department of Labor summaries show ESOPs paid out over $149 billion to employees leaving or retiring. That's generational wealth quietly being transferred to workers who would never have seen it in a wage-only system. And the wealth difference is not small. According to a study from the employee-owned S Corporations of America, the median ESOP account balance is almost 170% higher than the median American retirement savings. That's not a little better, that's transformational. But wealth is only half the story. Ownership changes behavior. According to a national survey of S Corporation ESOP companies conducted by the NCEO, voluntary quit rates in ESOP businesses are about 1/3 of the national average. That means people stay, they invest their time, they build careers instead of job hopping. Because when you own something, even a little bit, you see your future inside it. For companies, this stability is priceless. For workers, it's life-changing. For the country, it's a blueprint. ESOPs prove one powerful truth. When labor owns a share of the capital, the middle class stabilizes. And OBP takes that idea and scales it beyond ESOPs, beyond retirement plans, and into the entire structure of pay in America. ESOPs are the evidence. OBP is the evolution. This is how you rebuild wealth. This is how you stabilize families. This is how you restore the American middle class. Forge the future. OBP is the way. The Republic needs you.